Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some more FM21 videos. Like I said, the content for FM21 will never stop on this channel. If you are enjoying it and want some more content, why not subscribe if you're new around here. We are trying to get closer to 1,000 subscribers, but on to the best settings for FM21 that we have found. Now, before we start the video, we're going to magically disappear through the magic of editing. And you guys have 5 seconds to subscribe to this channel, because why not? So guys, the game has not been out for long. As you guys can see, we are in a Dortmund save currently, hence we're in a Dortmund shirt. But we're going to talk about the settings today, a very, very key part of the game that many people avoid. But I think settings are probably the be-all and end-all of the game. If your settings are wrong, you're not going to enjoy it. But to get onto the settings in the main menu, go onto preferences here, and top right section, go on advanced and go on to all. They're going to talk through some of these, some will skip, some aren't too important, but the main ones are towards the bottom of this scroll list. Now for me personally, I think full screen is the best. It depends how many monitors you have. You could go for window that allows you to switch in between tabs, but for me as a streamer, one screen is always FM, the other's chat and everything else. So for me, going for full screen, obviously your resolution there is self-explanatory. Skin, this is where you can download skins if you have skins already. A video will be coming for skins, face packs and badges coming up soon. So please subscribe if you are looking for that. Also, description below, if it is out already, it will be there, guys. Language, obviously pick your own language. Currency, pick your own currency. Now, match sounds for me, I will always turn match sounds off. I'm not a massive fan of match sounds. I don't think they're important to the game. Whistles and crowd celebrations don't add much for me. If they do, fair enough, but for me, I'll always mute that. That is my preferred quality. Now, for me, graphics quality, I'll always stick it on very high. For some reason, not on high, very high. But my PC is good enough for it. If PC is not great, I recommend going for the PC. But if you think your PC can handle it or your laptop can handle it, go for very high. Why not? You may as well utilize the graphics that are on there. The graphics aren't 4K HD, but you may as well utilize them when you've got the opportunity to. Auto saves, I would tend to go for a fortnight. If you do crash, a fortnight is not too long, but a week kind of slows the game down too much. Saving a game every week, it takes far too long. So I've always gone for a fortnight, because if you miss out on a crash, you don't have to play too many games. But if you don't, then it's just too slow pace, always saving it every week. On to the autosave type, free file autosave, I've already stuck to that. I just feel like it just keeps the game always ticking over and make sure you have the newest version that isn't going to be glitched or corrupted. On to everything else here, down to interface. Once again, we'll talk about sort of skins and other stuff when we talk about the video for face packs and everything else. Player screen, I tend to keep this stuff the same. I do tend to keep all this stuff the same. In terms of formats, it depends. Let me change this here. So obviously I'm from England, so I'll go for feet and stone and UK pound sterling. Once again, depends on what you guys prefer. Once again, like I said, for graphics, I'll stick these at the highest possible, because why not? I definitely can afford to do it. In match, I tend to keep it as it is. Match sounds, once again, are muted. But the main thing we're talking about in this video, guys, the main thing of this video is the highlight section. Now, for me, this basically is your game. It is your game. It's what you see on the screen when your players are playing. For me, 3D is always key. I love 3D menus. I love the 3D cameras. I'll always go director. I won't ever go 2D. Director, for me, it changes the camera angles, making it like you're watching a game in real life as much as possible. Now, when there's penalties, I will change to behind the goal. But for general default gameplay, I will go for director, because you get different angles, get the best angles mainly for most set pieces. For free kicks, you'll sometimes be behind the goal, sometimes behind a taker, get to see the curve of the ball. It makes the game just a lot more enjoyable and satisfying to watch. In terms of highlight mode, now people for pre-season friendlies, when they learn their tactics, will go for full match. For me, for a streamer, 90 minutes of gameplay isn't really the most logical solution. But if you guys want to see tactical analysis down to the full moments, then go for a full match here. Comprehensive, I tend to avoid altogether. I have a full match extended here. Comprehensive isn't much of a game changer between them. Now, if you're playing a big game, let's say Champions League semi-final onwards or quarter-final onwards, or the World Cup semis, or a big game, a big 6-pointer in the league, I will always recommend going extended. You can get some really good gameplay, some good footage of your players, and see where you're lacking on the pitch and where you need to change things. Obviously, the less highlights you see, the less you know how your team is truly playing. For me, I would tend to go for key highlights. If you're playing a lower team, then you don't really see all the highlights. If you are struggling though, go for extended. It does make a big difference. The game time isn't that much longer, but it does make a big difference to what you guys can see. So you can see, for example, their attacks are always down the right wing. If the more highlights you have, the more you know your right wing is getting exposed. So stuff like that really does help a lot. For me, cut matches, say I'll never start only comms. I'll never start only comms. It's just a rule of mine to never start there. But say you're 2-0 up to a League One side when you're Man City, go only comms in game. You may as well. You're going to win the game if you're 2 or 3-0 up. Just let the game cruise out, because really, it's just a glorified friendly at that stage, in my eyes. In terms of match speed, I will always go 1 above the default, which is the middle line. Always go 1 above. It just makes it a bit more snappier. Doesn't make it too quick, so you don't know what's going on. But it makes it snappier, makes the game enjoyable. Just seems like more realistic. I think the middle one is slower than real life. I think this one here is just on the balance of real life and slightly quicker. I think it's the perfect speed in my eyes. From years of playing FM, that is always my go-to speed. I used to play up here, but it's far too quick. This one here is perfect for every single moment of the game. Match speed during text only, I'll always go to the far right. I'm not massively looking for the text at the bottom of the screen. I'm not too fussed about that. I want to see the game. If I cared about what was happening when I can't see the game, I would see the game. I would go on extended or full match. If I'm not showing on the screen what I'm visually seeing, I won't read the text, so therefore I'll get it done as quickly as possible and not care too much. It's mainly stuff like players been booked or players been fouled or someone's shot and gone over the bar. Stuff you don't care about. If it was that important, you'd see it in key or extended highlights. That's my logic to it, and that seems to have worked for the last few years at least. Match speed between highlights. Now, if you want to play a big game, you maybe lower it a little bit. But for me, I've never touched it. I've always kept it onto the far right-hand side as quickly as possible, because between highlights, if nothing's going on, like I say, if stuff's important's happening, you'll see it in your key or extended highlights. So for me, I'll always get it as quickly as possible because I want to see as much gameplay as possible. It obviously changes because I'm a streamer and a YouTube content creator as such, that I want to see gameplay for you guys to entertain yourselves with. But for me, I've never once thought, wow, I should really slow the speed between highlights. I've never thought that. I never will think that. And that's just probably how I'll play this game for the rest of FM, really. In terms of replays here, replay events, I'll only really do goals. It depends what you guys want to see. I think the default is tight offsides, goal line tech, missed pens, and disallowed goals and offside goals. But for me, I don't care about seeing disallowed goals. I can always go back and see them again if I do want to see them again. I think having it by default is a bit tedious by having to skip them constantly. If I want to see something like a disallowed goal, I'll go back and see it on the replays through the scroll wheel. Missed penalties, don't care about seeing missed pens again. I think it's the gameplay slow enough to see how penalties missed, frankly. Clear-cut chances, if it's a key highlight, it'll be in there anyway. You don't really want to watch a miss 25,000 times. If you do, just rewind it, like I say. Goal line tech becomes a bit tedious seeing stuff on the line constantly in slow motion when you know it's not been a goal because it hasn't been disallowed, or it has been disallowed rather. And tight offsides, once again, the game knows if it's offside or not. For me, I've never once thought, wow, I should go back and see that. If I do, I'll freeze frame it, pause it, go back to the exact moment rather than relying on every single offside to be replay, because it does get annoying after a while. In terms of camera, we'll once again be a director. But for replays, I keep it on medium speed. It's slower than the gameplay, therefore it's a little bit in slow motion. Maybe lower it down if it's an absolute banger or a wonder goal. But for me, keep it on medium. And that is pretty much the way to play FM in my eyes. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I say, if you want to see some more FM21 content, please subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And hopefully, I'll see you so many more times this year, hopefully guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all next time.